QuickBooks Pro Plus Desktop 2022 OneNote presentation, Pay Payroll Liabilities form. Let's get into it with Intuit's QuickBooks Pro Plus Desktop 2022. If you have access to OneNote, would like to follow along with the icon left-hand side, the topic introductions 1540 Pay Payroll Liabilities forms. Also note you can take a look at the immersive reader tool topic introductions, also in the text area, same name, same number, but with transcripts that can be translated into multiple different languages and either listened to or read in them. We also have the same name and number in the presentations. Topic introductions designed to give an introduction to the topic, provide screenshots, links when applicable, and accounting background to complement and supplement the information that is going to be on the QuickBooks presentation. You can use the screenshots in the topic introductions to follow along with the presentations if you don't have access to QuickBooks at the time. Closing the icon on the left-hand side, we're looking at the Payroll Liabilities form. First screenshot, home page, last area of it, focusing in on the payroll cycle. We're going to the Pay Payroll Liabilities, which is this icon here, which would be the next process after we generate the payroll, resulting in payroll liability that we would then have to pay, but we want to do so with a special widget instead of just simply paying with a check, which could help us to track our liabilities. That will, of course, on the balance sheet be decreasing the checking account. As it decreases the checking account, we're going to have a special check, however, which will be a paycheck, which will indicate, sorry, not a paycheck. That's when we process the payroll. This will be a pay liability check, which will give us a special indication that we used the widget in order to pay the liabilities off. On the balance sheet, we can also take a look at the liabilities that we will be paying, the liabilities that are going up when we process the payroll, which will include the withholdings that we took from the employees, as well as the employer taxes that we're going to have to pay to the government, as well as possibly benefits that we'll have to pay to insurance companies or whatever else, including 401k plan, that will be in alignment with our agreement. This is the icon that we're looking at in the QuickBooks home page. Once again, as we select that icon, it takes us into the Employee Center, which is another way you could get there. Last tab on over on the Pay Liabilities. And now we've got the list of liabilities, which hopefully should populate for us if we have the payroll set up properly, which we'll get into in more detail in the second half of the course. If you process the payroll, it will look like a liability check, or I'm sorry, just a check that will be processed. But on the bottom, you got this special tab over here, which is different than a normal check, which will have these payroll liabilities, which will hopefully populate for us automatically as we use the special widget to pay off our liabilities. Then we have the transaction by account information. Here's the liability checks. Once again, they look like a check, or they are a check, but they label them in this special check format to let us know that we used a special widget to pay for these. The liability widget in this case, if you were to go into it, this particular check, it looks like a check form, but once again, you got the payroll liabilities down below and the payroll items driving the formation or population of the check. This is a transaction detail in the liability area for the federal withholdings, which would go up as we process the paychecks. So we increase the federal withholdings for our employees, and then we pay them. When we pay the liabilities, bringing the liability back down to zero. We should see a pattern such as this with the federal liabilities. Here's the same kind of idea. This is for the health insurance, which is something we withheld from the employees in this example. So it goes up as we process the payroll, then we pay the liability, in this case to the health insurance company, bringing it on back down to zero.